I guess news just came with respect to Butler, I think. But I'll just confirm that. Hey, what's up, Bobby?
How's it going? Are we live?
So what do we have? Butler out? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, we have Butler out. We've got Kyle Anderson out. And those are pretty big pieces, I think, for this slate. It's going to be – I don't want to say it's going to be chalk city. I think you're going to have a lot of guys in the 20-ish% owned range tonight. But, there's a lot of things we can do, and we'll get into it. I'm still waiting for some projections to update. Want to remind everybody when you get in, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And also, please ask questions, and I'll answer up till 6:45 Eastern, and actually maybe able to go up to lock today. It's just hard to answer when we're building lineups, and we tend to get information a lot during the show. So, what's up, K9 Bronco? Nice to see you back here.
And the other thing is, guys, if you hear anything at all, don't presume that we know it. Just pump it right in there.
Yeah, it's hard while doing the shows. It's something different. Like one of the things that when I was working at Roto Grinders, nobody who entered more than like 3 lineups would ever do an up to lock show. Like nobody, right? Because it's just not possible.
What we're trying to do. I mean, what I'm trying to do is actually just show you what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
No, that's great. Go ahead, Chiefs.
Yeah. So like if you want us to have the full breakdown of all the player by player stuff, probably early is the better idea to do that. But what we like to do is maybe spend the first 20, 25 minutes or so, just going through the games again. And then, and then you'll see how we react to stuff, but if we go silent for like 10 minutes or something, it's just because we're just kind of laser focused, and that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and you have to, at the end of these things, obviously, with a lot of lineups, it's very tricky. So, we're going to have some new stuff coming out afterwards. Those rankings that Sheets done, I'm going to start doing those regularly. We're gonna have some different tiered stuff when we come back from the All-Star break after starting next week. So just to give you guys, because I know it's helpful to have something to refer to. The problem with basketball is it's so changing these days, and there's so much late minute information. It's just really, really hard to avoid. But one of the biggest pieces of news also with the Lakers is that's a big deal with Marcus Gasol being out. Montrezl Harrell, who I was already all over, is now going to be very popular. And Markieff Morris is a much better play than he would have been however many minutes ago, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So basically my first thoughts, Sheets, let's talk about the first game, because I do think we have updated projections on Memphis side. It's obviously I think you're going to want Memphis players. It's the tricky part about them is they really spread the minutes out in general. But I don't think we have to assume that's necessarily everybody's. I think every player on Memphis's lineup has an upside for minutes. And I would say that every player has a downside for minutes, but they sort of are. It's almost like everybody's projected to be at their minimum minutes as far as I'm looking. But, of course, there's always some room for that to go a little lower in some cases. Who are we looking at over here other than Morant? Obviously, he's the chalk guy who we like. But there's other options, and I personally lean Dylan Brooks, Joe Val, Winslow, and Clark. But I know other people out there, and I like Bane too, but he's going to be really popular. And I'm less on Tyus Jones, and I think people are going to play some Tyus Jones.
Yeah, I just don't want to run the risk. And I've kind of been seeing how the tide changes and people's thoughts change and things, and I don't want to end up getting too cute. You know what I mean? Like it's a Washington game, and you have a Memphis team who plays fast also, who's down a little bit of players. I just don't want to just say fade Memphis for the sake of fading Memphis. You know what I mean? There's a reason why, you know what I mean? Like they project well. And not only that, but it's not so much that. It's this Washington matchup. There's so much inherent upside to it. And just from a GPP perspective, it's so easy for me to play this, to stack this game, that I don't know, man. I just don't want to get too cute about it. What I really like is something that you brought up there. Well, something you brought up and led me to another one. I really, really might get into this Rui Hachimura thing. um, on the Washington side if I'm going to stack this game. Do something like a Westbrook and Hachimura and a Beal Hachimura. And I might also, considering how Memphis likes to give up threes, I might go for some Bertans also. I'm looking ahead at some of these other games. Now I find good plays in these other games. Like I said, I like some Kawhi. I guess I like Randall from the New York game. Yeah, sure. Giannis and Jokic are really, really good plays. But I don't know, man. The Atlanta Miami game I could almost do without. I mean, I know the Butler's out. You got to have to look at it, but
Butler's out, and we have a new coach, which always. I mean, to be honest, we'll get to that game in a minute. But like sticking with this, right? I mean, right after the thing I started thinking about more and more is just that John Collins might be a better and better play than I originally thought, and Miami has got incredible. Like, there's 4 guys with incredible upside on Miami. That's what I'm struggling to avoid.
Who do you like?
Well, let's go game by. I mean, I thought we were going to go to the game by game, but
I thought we the whole slate. Okay, fine. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It's because you said we'll review the games, but I would say for Miami, you got to love Dragic. I don't know, like he's going to be like one of the most popular plays on the slate, I think. But it's hard not to like him. He or Kendrick Nunn or Tyler Hero. I wouldn't play all of those guys together. I don't think it's worst thing to play 2 of them together in a great matchup. And then Bam is just a complete smash. Like just. I think without Butler, it really does benefit him. I think he's too cheap. I know it's tough matchup with Capella individually. I just don't think it matters enough with Butler out here. So that's just where I'm leaning in that game. But starting with this Memphis game, to answer K9 Broncos' question about what value we like, I think we should rank it. So I like I said, I have Bane a little bit lower. It's not because I don't like him. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be really popular. I think he has a wide range of outcomes. Then, you look at it even in 23 minutes the other night, he put up 8 fantasy points. And it's not that he's not productive. He put up 6 in 20 minutes before that. He put up 15 in 23. He put up 7.5 in 24. That's enough of a reason to fade a guy who's getting a huge amount of love. Now it's a little better of a situation, but the minutes are still there. And it's not like Kyle Anderson is a usage monster, although he does take up some. So I'm leaning with the other guys a little bit. And also they have a lot of bodies healthy. Like D'Anthony Melton missed some of those games, and he's healthy. We're not going to play him because he's 4.6, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm ranking it Ja. I'm taking a shot with the Brandon Clark thing. And now I think that everybody else is going to join me. I'm afraid that they're going to, with this news. They're going to find a way to join me. But I like Ja. I like Brandon Clark. I like Justice Winslow, Dylan Brooks.
You're ranking them? You're putting them in that order exactly?
Yeah, I mean, they're different price ranges, so it's a little tricky. But Bane is – look, I like anybody against Washington in general, but I just gave 5 good reasons, I think, to fade Bane if you want to. And you're talking about a guy who might – like where Brooks might be like 15 or 20% owned. I think he'll be in that range, and where Joe Val will be 10 to 15 and Winslow will be 20 to 30. I think Bane might be like 40 or 50. And I think he has a wider range of outcomes. We've seen it consistently that he's got a wider range of outcomes. So
I rank Ja number 1.
Yep.
Right now I have Bane ranked number 2. And one thing that I find interesting is kind of like the way things kind of move throughout the day. Mm-hmm. I actually like earlier in the day he didn't pop as much as he does now, and it's going to be a testament to probably, like you said, kind of the creepy ownership too. Creeping up, so Brandon Clark is starting to look a little bit better, and I don't see that much ownership from him. Maybe 10-15%. I mean, it's not that bad. I don't know if they're going to go there. I think at that price range, people are going to spend going to do Nerlens Noel, right?
Clark has power forward eligibility. He's 600 cheaper, and. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I'll be right back, Bobby.
Okay. All right, guys. I'll keep talking through it. Feel free to drop the questions in there. And QQ Jaylen Brown. I don't have any need to play Jaylen Brown on this slate personally. There's always upside for that guy. He can play. I love him a lot as a player, as a person. But I don't think that playing Jaylen Brown in the worst possible matchup for him is a good idea on this slate personally. So that's where I'm at on that one. Let's see. Do I like Wagner still as run back? Asked JJ. So I never really loved Wagner. Sorry, I'll pronounce his name right. Wagner. But the problem is he is cheap. There is a ceiling there. I actually think the better play in this matchup may end up being Robin Lopez, and I don't think you need to play either of them. They've got 3 centers they can match up with Doval, Wagner starting, but look at Wagner's game log. We have him starting the other night. He plays 12 minutes, 11 minutes, 18 minutes. He had the 125-minute game against the Clippers, but that was on a back-to-back where they had, I believe, Len or Lopez. I can't remember which one was out, or limited at least because it was a back-to-back. You really don't get that many. You haven't really had that many minutes out of him. Actually, the more he's started, the less he's played. So it's a little disturbing, but he does have the upside in a good, what should be a good pace matchup. So I just put him a little bit beneath. I would rather play Bane than I would play Wagner. I think the minutes are much more secure. And again, I like Bane. It's just a matter of, boy, he really does have a wide range of outcomes for a guy who might be 40, 50% owned. And we also have other games later. One other thing to keep in mind about the games later is that Gasol being out should raise some red flags based on what we've learned so far.
What do you mean red flags?
COVID protocol. Look, they're going to do everything.
That's why he's out?
Yeah. They're going to do everything they can to try and play the game, but that's a dangerous game a little bit. You have, it's sort of on its own. We might not find out till after nothing's left, but at the same time, they've been good about refunding us when.
Let me ask you a question. Is this the Lakers last? I asked you this before. I forgot what the answer was. Is this the Lakers' last game before the All-Star break?
Yes.
Why not just cancel it?
Well, I don't know what the details of the COVID protocol are because we've seen teams play a lot too in this spot. So it would really depend on that.
It's all just for me, just another reason not to play that game.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, the Lakers do play tomorrow. Excuse me. I don't know why.
Oh, they do. Okay, forget.
They have a game in Sacramento tomorrow. But this is a nationally televised game. This is an important game. It's not important. It's a game where you expect them to get up for it, and you could avoid that game if you want to. That's fine.
Look at this. It's creeping right up the board now. Brandon Clark with the new update is now 5th top play. He's gonna be pretty.
This is so annoying to me. Yeah. This happens every show, Sheets. Every time I have a play I love early in the, or not every time, but a lot of times, feels like by the end of the day they just.
Well, but this is what I was going to get at with you. So there's a lot of guys that, and this is the case with every slate too, that we just presume everybody's going to play this guy, everybody's going to play this guy. Everybody can't play everybody. Everybody can't be 50% owned. So
right. So just knowing the way that people play, they're going to side with the 3,400 guy over the other guys. That's just no question about it. It's every slate. So if you compare Bane to Winslow, I would be very surprised if Bane doesn't have more ownership than Winslow does. And I think Winslow, I don't want to say more upside. I'd say he definitely has, I don't know. They both have high minute upside. A little tricky.
What about Brook Lopez?
Yeah, I'm into Brook Lopez. That's a different value from later on that I like. If you want to real quick, just go through the other games, because I do think we can sort of get rid of some of the other plays that we talked about earlier. All the Boston guys are out of play for me tonight. I just mentioned that when someone asked about Jaylen Brown. Don't feel the need to play him in the worst possible matchup at a higher price. So we can, for me, Boston is a cross-off. Completely.
I just want to confirm that. First, I'm looking at both sides. So, yeah, I can't find Boston showing up anywhere at any position.
Yeah.
On FanDuel, and on if it was close, I would talk about it. And then DraftKings. Let me just look and see where I'm at. Yeah, it takes me a long time on my list visually to find a Boston guy.
There's just definitely no justifiable reason to play any of them, except for if you have a little inkling of something. Really, there's not. The ownership, I guess, would be the justification.
But I am interested still in playing Leonard or George on DraftKings.
So I'm into that, and that's going to be the low-owned business we can get into.
And also, by the way, remember we talked about this on FanDuel. Kawhi's priced up, but George is free almost. He's 7,900.
I love him over there, especially. So that was what I was going to say. Is just for the Clippers, let's keep it simple. There's other guys who we could argue. Oh, look, Serge Ibaka's 4,800 and stuff.
Who needs?
I don't think we need. What's that?
Who needs?
Yeah, I don't think we need to do it. But I do think it's a good matchup. And would it surprise me if he has a good game? No. If you ended up there, not the worst play in the world. Nicholas Batum, not the worst play in the world, but I'm not getting into it. The only guy who I would consider outside of Kawhi or Paul George, which I have heavy interest in, would be the Patrick Beverley play. That's the 3,800 guy. Like, we're talking about these other guys who we're speculating on. Beverley, we know, is going to play 24 to 30 minutes. Okay. They're going to have him out there, pretty much all the time. I mean, or pretty much all the time Kemba's out there. I guess they'll play a little bit of Man and Jackson too. But I think he has the upside in these minutes, and he's 3,800. I don't think it's the ideal play, but if we're talking about him versus the other guys we're speculating, it's actually closer, I think, than people probably realize. But mainly, it's Kawhi, Paul George. That's what we're doing in this game, right? That's all we want. It's all we really need.
Yep.
All right. How about the next game? So the Atlanta side of it, I sort of agree. What worries me is I think actually Trey's more in play than we talked about earlier. But I'm falling a little bit for this John Collins thing, and a new coach narrative means so the two most talented players for their future. And I mean, Capella's awesome, but he's always going to play, but it's Trae Young and John Collins. And John Collins just lit this team up. That's one thing you can look at. He put up 58 the other day against this team. He might sound chasey, but he's not going to be that high owned. And he's 6,800 with a new coach who probably will play him a few more minutes, would be my first thought. A little less into the Bogdanovich thing, although I will have some of it because of the value in Memphis and the value with Markieff Morris and things like that in LA. But I don't think that you need to go anywhere else on the Atlanta side here. John Collins is my favorite play. Trae Young is fine, just not how I'm building. I'm preferring the Washington guys a little bit.
Well, let's talk about this for a little bit. What has there been any actual coaches thing about Bogdanovich and the minutes limit, or no?
The 18 to 20 seems to be the high end.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not exactly. It was sort of it was a quoted thing that was very early. I mean, that was like at 5 a.m. Like, I don't have nothing new. There's nothing new. They're not going to go out there and play him a bunch of minutes. It would be really weird. It honestly is weird to me. They're playing him right before the All-Star break. We got a couple of other questions I would love to get to real quick just between these games, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Favorite game to stack? Lakers game? No. Definitely not the Lakers game. Favorite game to stack. But there are pieces there that you can get like three-man stacks and stuff that I like a little bit. Favorite game to stack would be the first game, but I'm not like going out of my way to try to stack it when you don't need to stack. Like, I don't think that's the way you should be playing this slate, personally. But I will try to correlate if I have a couple guys, and if I have a 50-50 decision, I'll lean that way of going for the stack.
Before we just press on, I just want to just give you my thoughts, because I think I was outside when you were talking about the Miami thing.
Okay.
I just want to throw. I do like both Dragic and Bam on the Miami side. I'm not as into the Atlanta side maybe as you might be.
I'm not into I just said I wasn't into the Atlanta side except for John Collins.
Well, that counts, right?
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, okay, fair enough.
Whatever. So yeah, I do like both. I like Dragic a little bit. I like Dragic, and I like Bam. Yeah. Okay, so we can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just real quick answer some questions, and Cheats, feel free to answer your own answer. Dragic or none? I'm leaning Dragic, but I don't mind none either. But I would lean Dragic. How about you?
Dragic.
On FanDuel, is that none over Dragic is not crazy. The same question, sort of. No, it's absolutely not crazy to play none over Dragic. And don't buy any ownerships, you guys. I know people read, like, they go on RG or they go on one of these sites and they see the instant 1% own. These things have not even come close to updating yet. You know what I mean?
No.
You know, at one point yesterday, Dwight Howard was going to be 70% owned. At one point, he was going to be 0.5% owned. Was the highest scoring player per dollar on the slate. Okay, Kawhi under 9K. He's a game time decision now, so that's interesting. I appreciate that news. Stevie B always dropping good news in here. I haven't seen that Kawhi is a game time decision yet, and that does have me. Well, that makes Paul George the guy I'm going to lean to then, because we'll hopefully find out before lock, but that's a big deal, obviously. Oh wait, Bogdanovich game time decision Tuesday. So that's an updated thing that I hadn't seen either. I'm a little bit off of Bogdanovich now, but we have to know that one before. Well, we should know that one before lock. Hopefully, we don't have to actually. Shoot. Takes on Dozier or Zeke. My take is don't play them. Right, Sheets? We're not playing PJ Dozier and Zeke unless there's somebody announced out. We haven't got anybody out on Denver yet. On the back-to-back, I don't see any reason to reach for those guys. Do you?
No. No, I like the better guys on Denver. I don't think we have to reach for those today. I mean, like if you want to, if you really are playing like a just for the sake of fading the Memphis value, I mean, you could go for it. At least you have what you have is interesting leverage because if you feel as though if you want to bet on maybe the game blowing out, meaning that neither Giannis nor Jokic necessarily smashes, then you get that double whammy of probably getting more blowout run from those types of guys. So you can you can justify it in that way, but I think that's for me that's a little speculative.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Another question about Booker on DraftKings. I think he's a bad play. That's my answer. I don't think that he's like the worst play in the world. He can always get hot and guys like that, but you're not playing him for any reason. You're playing him in a terrible matchup for him specifically because Chris Paul, I expect to do more of the work, especially in a game that's tight. If you look at the games that Booker goes off or even kind of goes off, it's usually games that they're in control. When it's tight down the stretch, it usually is Chris Paul time. So Bogdan is officially in tonight, by the way.
There's another guy, by the way, from the Memphis game that we didn't really talk about. You mentioned Tyus Jones, whatever, and he's whatever for me. But you have anything for Xavier Tillman?
So Kawhi is not a game time decision, by the way. It was a confusing tweet. I want to make that really clear. Xavier Tillman, I think, is really reaching. Like I don't.
Okay.
The only thing is with Tillman, like, look. It always feels nerve-wracking when I answer those kind of things because these guys all have the chance. They're going to get opportunity to play on the court, and if they get hot, Memphis more than any other team will just let it ride. But Xavier Tillman is a guy who hasn't gotten there in the last 7 games, and in some of those games, they didn't even have Brandon Clark for some of those games. They didn't have Joe Bell for one of those games. He's gotten there a couple times this year. Most of the time, it's been when he's been starting. When they were out of bodies, they didn't have Melton for some of those games. So there's no logic behind it here except for that the matchup is good for me. And I really just think that like what worries me about the Memphis value is that I think you'll see just John Concher play some more minutes. You'll see Tillman play some minutes. And to me, those guys are not solid plays on this slate. I do like Tillman's game though. And there's always, again, all of these Memphis guys, it's tricky. That's why I'm trying to keep it to the guys I know are going to play more minutes. Like I know Justice Winslow is going to play probably 24 minutes. I just don't see how that he doesn't play that many minutes. And I'm okay with that at 3.9. I think there's upside for it. I don't think there's much downside for it. Tillman, Concher, Melton, whatever you have them at, those are the guys I could see playing 15 minutes, playing 5 minutes, playing 8 minutes. You know what I mean? I think Dylan Brooks will play minutes unless he fouls out, which he very possibly will because this is a matchup where if Dylan Brooks is going to foul out, he does a lot. This is the one where it would happen. And the guy who scares me the most to fade on that situation is Tyus Jones. Sorry, just elaborating a little. The guy I could talk a little bit about. We could talk a little bit about the Miami thing again because I do think that. So you said you like Dragic and Bam. Are you off of? I know there's a lot of people talking about Duncan Robinson. It's a great matchup because you can get the shots off. But wouldn't we rather try to find some room to play Nunn or Dragic, or like even a little more room to play Hero if we were going to do something like that?
I think so.
Yeah, and but I think Kelly O is a little bit in play as well. I just don't think that he's a priority for me. Maybe if you want to get creative on FanDuel as a center. Sheets, what are your thoughts on the Knicks tonight? I mean, we know that Noel is going to be 1,000,000% owned, and
I like Randall.
You like Randall? I love it. I think Randall's going to have reasonable ownership, so I think it's going to be that's a solid play. I like Barrett a little bit too. It's hard for me to get to Randall because I'm interested in that first game, and I keep thinking, okay, do I play Randall at 93? Do I play Bradley Beal at 97? I think they're both pretty like safe to get her in the 50 range, but it sort of correlates better. And we know, they both have monster ceilings, but Bradley Beal can get hot and score 50 real life points. And this is the kind of matchup where I could see that happening. So I'm going to have some interest. It's a bad matchup in one sense where you have good defenders, a good defender in Brooks against him, but Brooks gets in foul trouble every game, and the pace itself should just make up for that.
Derrick Rose really isn't going to be 30% owned, is he?
I think he's a solid play. I don't think he will be anymore, not with the Miami news, no. But I think he'll be in the 20s, maybe. Well, probably around 20. It depends on what happens before 8:30 Eastern, obviously. And then on the Spurs side, if these are really what we need, I need to know whether Keldon Johnson is in or out before I decide anything, because I don't have a lot of interest in these guys if Keldon Johnson is in. As I predicted earlier, LaMarcus Aldridge did in fact rest. But I don't see why I would play just a chalky Trey Lyles again. I mean, it's like this is the best spot he's had. But you just watch this guy play 36 minutes the other night, and he put up 21 fantasy points. He played 27 minutes the other night, he put up 19 fantasy points. He played 27 minutes before that, 19 fantasy points. 10 minutes before that, 1 fantasy point. Like, this is no lock play here. So when he's going to have ownership, I tend to look other directions. Having said that, he's going to play minutes, and probably more than he has, except for that one game this whole season. But it's hard because every time I get back to it, I prefer the Memphis upside of the value. But you also can gain something by waiting, because if we wait and we find out Keldon Johnson's out, well, then all of a sudden Lucas Samanic is probably in play. Keita Bates-Diop might be a play. Who knows? Maybe they rest DeRozan. You never know what the Spurs are going to do. And it might be last minute that you find out. So anyways, this is a little bit of a tricky one. The Spurs. You want to really quickly talk about Denver? I mean, Jokic and Morris, I think, are the popular plays. But
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
All right, Jokic and Morris are the popular plays over there. I don't mind going back to Porter Jr. I'm not into Will Barton personally on the back-to-back, but again, he always can get there. And I'm not into Kunkar at all. I was only interested in him if there was a couple guys out. Brook Lopez I like on the Milwaukee side. Obviously, Giannis is a core play if you're playing cash, I think, at this point. But not any interest in the other guy. It's really mostly Lopez, Giannis, and Portis for me over there. Middleton on FanDuel. And then in the Laker game at the end, I will play some Chris Paul. I will play some DeAndre Ayton, not very much. I will play some Mikal Bridges. And if we get no Saric, if we find out in time, I would love to play some Cam Johnson, but we're not going to find out in time. So probably a moot point. On the Lakers side, I like Markieff Morris as value. I think that's a good way to go. One thing you could do is in case the Lakers do anything different or shuffle up the lineup or whatever, you can always switch to Cam Johnson if Saric is out. That's an interesting thing you could do. But other than that, a little bit of Schroeder, and I do like the idea of taking one stab on the LeBron, Chris Paul back and forth. That's the mini game stack, and maybe you throw in Harrell or Morris. I like Harrell, but I'm a little concerned that I don't know. It doesn't matter if he starts. Let's put it that way. I think his minutes are going to be he has more upside in minutes, but I don't know if it's so much that he's going to lock that he's going to play 34 minutes. I don't think that's at all a lock. I also like Kuzma a little bit. All right, I'm going to answer questions for a few minutes, and then I've got to start building some of my lineups. Obi, why would Obi pop up, guys? Fill me in on that question. I see a question about Obi Toppin, and I can't figure out why. Did I miss something with Obi Toppin? Did I miss something with these guys? Is there any reason to think Obi Toppin will play? He hasn't played 20 minutes, I don't think, this season. So for me, I would consider Obi Toppin a worse play than Bogdanovich. Personally, at some point, it's weird though, because at some point I'm on the record as saying I think this guy's going to get some run, but I don't see any reason to play him here.
Sorry about that. First world problems.
No problem at all. I was just saying that I don't like Obi Toppin because that was asked about that. Point guard or PG or Capella or Middleton. None of those guys on DraftKings for me very much. PG would be my favorite probably. I don't like them on DraftKings very much. I do like PG better on FanDuel. Harrell and Markieff in the same lineup. Not ideal, not optimal, but it's fine. Totally fine with it, especially if you have some piece of that other piece of that game. Do I like Bogdan? I think Bogdan is really thin, but I think it's worth taking a shot on, especially in large field tournaments. Who's going to back up Noel if he gets into foul trouble? Well, it's a good question.
Season.
You think that's the Obi Toppin answer? Because if that's the answer for Obi Toppin, I mean, I'll just tell you, in the last games, Nerlens Noel has played 40 minutes. And I think Taj Gibson would be the answer, not Obi Toppin necessarily. And maybe you get some Obi Toppin. Actually, wait, Taj is out tonight, isn't he?
Is he?
I thought he was out. Maybe that's why the Toppin thing came up.
Maybe that's why Noel is so popular.
Interesting. I didn't get the official word on that, but maybe that did happen and I just missed it. Interesting. All right. Maybe I may have slept that one off a little too quickly. But speaking of that, Manuel quickly. No, I'm just I can't. I'm not getting to Toppin personally. So I will tell you the guys who I have as priorities that have changed. Maybe some have changed, some have not. Dragic, Bam, Lopez, Nunn, Morris, Harrell, Brooks, Winslow, Clark, Collins. That's a list of guys who I liked earlier. I'm probably not going to be spending all the way up for Giannis and Jokic very much on DraftKings, and that's where I'm at. And I've got to start building some lineups. So guys, give me some questions. I'll try to answer it. Taj is out. Kevin Knox is a real reach, real crazy reach. Maybe not play. Maybe DNP. I do still have Crowder interest. A good question, Jamie. I do a little bit. Kawhi is reasonable on DK. We like him. MPJ, absolutely. Go ahead with MPJ. I'm on board with all these guys. You guys are totally. All right. And now I'm going to leave Sheets for 1 second because I have to grab something. So Sheets, I'll you for 1 minute. I'm going to go. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm gonna build a little bit here as well. What I like to do is I want to build some hand builds, and then I'm going to let SaberSim kind of create the real big MME type lineups, because I mean for those types of contests, I mean you really need to go a little bananas. So I found is my own ability to go somewhat bananas is somewhat limited. So I kind of let the SaberSim kind of psycho thing just go a little bananas for me. And believe it or not, I mean, those, I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, those have been the lineups that have been, making headway in those big lottery ticket tournaments for me. But the handbill ones have been doing really, really nicely in the single entries and even the monsters and stuff like that. But usually the ones that I hand built are just really just don't have the juice for the whatchamacallit, for like the 150s, that type of thing. So I'm gonna have SaberSim build me a couple based on I've been tweaking my own these projections, and then I'm gonna let SaberSim kind of shuffle it a little bit and see what it comes up with. Then what I'll do is I give a little bit of a sanity check, just to make sure I'm not going too crazy, but I don't want to go too much with the sanity check either, because I do want to just let it kind of do its thing. So let me just see. And then I have to go, and then I got to do FanDuel. I'm not playing that many lineups on FanDuel tonight. So let me see what this comes up. Oh my God. All right. This is stupid enough it might win.
It's interesting. The first lineup I built today that I wanted to get the Lakers in was Chris Paul and with LeBron. And I'm keeping this, like I looked at it right now, trying to make changes. I don't need to make any changes. I like it. I'm going to get some pivots off of it. But like I had Harrell in it. I had Bane in it. I had Brooks in it already. And I was okay with fading the rest of the guys over there and playing the unknown LeBron, Chris Paul with Kawhi Leonard in their business. That's going to be no own guys. And it's just intriguing to me. Also, if you get off to a really flying hot start and you want to get some Giannis instead of LeBron, or you want to do something different, get some other things done, you can completely pivot, obviously. So in the Memphis stack, let's see. Boy, I like all of my original lineups. What the hell's going on here? I was going to have to make a whole bunch of changes.
just happened? Why did I? Oh.
Let's see real quick. What do we have the Westbrook ownership at? Yes, that on my phone.
I mean, he's definitely going to own. I mean,
oh no, he's not.
Westbrook?
Maybe like 10%, maybe.
On FanDuel?
Oh no, this is. I don't know why. I don't know. No, my default is usually DraftKings.
Right.
I'm not.
Sorry.
No, I got you. On FanDuel, he'll definitely be on. I was just very. Oh, you're on FanDuel. I'm sorry, man. I'm not looking.
No, I'm not. I'm doing DraftKings right now, but I'm just in general. I don't want to play Bogdan.
Yeah, I think it's too thin now.
What about Gallinari again?
I mean, you're just betting on him hitting a bunch of threes, sure. So he's a worse play now than he was before because you got Bogdan back.
Yeah,
but
maybe Nunn is a better play than Dragic.
Nunn and Dragic, I think, are close. And by the way, I don't think that many people are going to play Westbrook. I mean, with Dragic, Morant eating up like half of 50% each, probably can't be that owned. And then you've got Nunn who's going to probably have 20% or so. Yeah, I don't see it happening, man. I don't think that Westbrook's going to be more than 25% owned on FanDuel. Maybe, which for Westbrook is usually, pretty low.
I like Harrell a lot tonight.
Me too. I'm a little worried. First, I wouldn't expect if everybody else just goes, oh, I think Harrell's going to start now. Don't assume that. Whatever you do,
I don't care who starts.
It doesn't matter, right? Exactly. I'm completely on that same page.
This is kind of stacky. I'm going to put this in here.
All right. I got one more chance to look at questions for 5 minutes, and then I got to start building these things out.
I like this lineup a little bit here. The anti-Joval lineup here.
All right, guys. Any more questions? QQ, are you on Westy on DK? Yeah, I've got him in some lineups. Not my favorite play. I like him better on FanDuel, but I do have a little bit of Westbrook. Thoughts on Bobby Portis? I can see the Bucks. Me too. I like Bobby Portis a lot. I don't think you're going to be fooling anyone. I think he'll have some ownership. Onel says Noel had 3 blocks, 3 steals last game with Taj out. I think it's a chase. Or am I bugging for fading Noel? No, you're fine to fade Noel. He's going to do that. He's going to block shots and get steals and whatnot. But I think you're fine fading him. I actually think the Obi thing, going back to the Obi thing, I think it's kind of a clever play, and I'm kind of more on board. So I apologize. I didn't realize for some reason I had Taj's in on my original sheet, so that was my problem. Is Gallo a good play on DK? Like I just told Sheets a minute ago, worse play than he was before, but can always get hot. There's no logical, look, the guy's had no games that we want and then makes 10 threes. And, it's definitely not like a guy you should be trying to get in. If you want to play him, if he fits, I would much rather play Clark personally. But sure, Gallo's always got upside. There's nothing about this matchup. So you have Gallo in the worst possible matchup with another body back. I can't see the logic behind the idea of playing him. It's fundamentally wrong whether it works or not. No, I'm sorry. My problem is I've been watching way too many Doug Polk videos. I don't know why. I've got a little poker bug lately, but I just like trying to come up with more absolutes these days. So I'm going to try and mix in a little bit of this value, get a little bit of the Dragic Nunn thing split up, because I do like both of them, and I think there's a lot of upside for both, but I do think Dragic is the better play. And I think Harrow is a really good play too. If you're going to play Harrow with one of them, I think it would probably be Nunn instead of Dragic. It's maybe I take that back, actually. I mean, I'll take that one right back. It's really close.
I like on FanDuel, I like Alec Burks.
Okay.
Thought I'd let you know that.
You always like Alec Burks. I like it. Cheats. I'm into it. I think that makes sense. I'd have to get one Bogdanovich lineup, or I wouldn't forgive myself.
What's that?
I have to get one Bogdanovich lineup in, or I'll never forgive myself. Winslow, another one of the boy. Fading Jokic tonight might be my downfall, but I'm willing to take that shot completely. Actually, I feel pretty good about it, to be honest with you.
Let me do a quick look at FanDuel. Just see if anybody is like a tremendous play that I'm just missing somehow.
I have to get over there in just a minute. Oh my God! Come on, DraftKings, speed up a little bit.
Oh, if you're waiting for if you're complaining that DraftKings is slow, then FanDuel was really going to be.
I believe this is the guy who always hates me. He only comes in and never says negative. Yeah, sure. Doug Polk. A lot of people hate Doug Polk. That's fine. I think he's entertaining, and I actually think he's got. I think he's a terrific poker player. I actually agree with his a lot of what he says. Guys, any more questions? I've got like 2 minutes before I have to start building the rest of my lineup. So just throw them in there. I'll take a look as quickly as soon as I can.
Man, I gotta. Boy, oh boy. Let's see. 300, 400. Rui, 300. Oh, wait, RJ Barrett. Okay. I really like this though. So let's change this one. We'll go Rui to RJ Barrett. I've never met Polk. He got into poker like after I stopped playing.
He's like the only guy you don't know from poker.
Yeah, I don't know any. I don't know a lot of the newer guys actually.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he knows who you are.
I don't know about that.
I bet he does. He knows everybody in the industry.
Let me see. Short shooting guard. Boy, oh boy, I don't want to. I can't even spend 500 more and improve my Alec Burks position. And I can't improve that one. I don't think. Where's DFS God? I need your help, dude.
Get out of here, Sheets.
I literally can't improve on this at all. I'm not playing Nerlens Noel.
Okay.
And I have 500 to spend it. I can't figure out how to spend it. I'm just going to sit on it.
All right, I'll take a look in a second. Let me see.
Oh, no, you know what I can do here? I'll play 8 in one lineup. Hold on. Instead of Joe Val. That I can do.
Sort of liking this John Collins thing, guys. New coach. It really fits the whole mold we're looking for here. So I'm into this John Collins quite a bit. Remember, you just have to get the first game straight. We've got a 30-minute break, so in case anything else does break in between. Let's see. QQ utility decision between Mills, Kelly O, and Bobby Portis. I'm not finding any of those types of things in my utility. I think they're all in play. If I had to pick one, I would probably go with Portis and hope for the upside. I don't know what the rest of your lineup looks like. So I would, like, if you have Giannis, do not play Bobby Portis in that lineup. Even though it's okay, it's just not, you don't need to do that. So if you have Giannis, I would probably go Kelly O. That's it. WW Fresh is telling you should ditch Crowder.
I know. Maybe I should. Maybe I should play freaking idiot Brandon Clark. No, I got too much on DraftKings.
I have too much Crowder. I can say that comfortably. Well, uncomfortably, I guess, but I do have too much Crowder. He does fit in for me. And
I play one Nerlens Noel lineup.
You could play Kelly O instead of Crowder right there. Boom. Or you know what you could do? You could just play what's his name? Play Trey Lyles.
Yeah, I could totally play Trey Lyles. Not too exciting though. I mean,
no, it might turn into a great play. You know what I mean? If the other guys are out, it could become the play that you want it to be. You know.
Is anybody gonna play Winslow on FanDuel?
I would imagine. He actually probably. I mean, in terms of his total points, he'll probably have more FanDuel points than he does DraftKings points because he does a doozall.
All right, I'll play one lineup without Crowder. That'll be fine.
Boy, for a guy who was trying to fade Bane, I didn't do a very good job of it.
I have 44. I have 44% Bane.
That's right about where I am too.
If you guys want something to predict, by the way, so I want you guys. I don't know if any of you guys are in this live stream, follow the stuff with the golf and things like that. There's somebody I'm locking in golf tomorrow. I mean, if you guys, if somebody could predict, you don't have to say now because then I might change it, right? But think about who you think I might be locking in, and if you get it right, I will. I won't give you anything, but you could give the satisfaction of knowing that you got it right. I can send you a t-shirt, but nobody wants
that offer.
Yeah, I really have nothing to offer you. It's just your own challenge of just of reading people and knowing what types of guys I like to play and yeah.
There you go.
I'll give you I'm gonna be playing. Do I want to give it away? I don't want to give it away. No, I want to see if this would give it away. That's one give it away. I'm gonna probably play him outright. That helps. And here's a key. I shouldn't say I've never recommended him before because I have, but it's not like he's not like the normal he's not Abe Answer, for example. I don't even think Abe Answer is playing, so it's not like the guy that Sheets is playing this guy again. It's just a guy that I'm locking in. Anyway, I got something I have to do right now. Well, on my computer, but I can't show you what it is because Bobby will yell at me.
What is it? I can't see yours anyway. I'm too busy editing my lineups. Don't worry.
I'll do it on the other screen. I'm just updating my hockey lineups.
Why would I yell at you? I'm all for it.
Whenever I say, "God damn you, Sheets, what are you doing?"
No, I'm just always shocked at how many different things you have on your plate. If anything, it's a compliment.
Right. I can't get a freaking good hockey guy on here. I mean, I don't know who they are. Like you'd think that if I could find a good hockey guy.
You find them everywhere, yeah.
I mean, I could talk about. I'm in good shape actually. I got time here.
Plenty of time.
One of those guys with a Canadian accent, you know what I mean? He doesn't have to be from Canada. Just like fake a Canadian accent or something.
That's all you want?
Yeah, I mean, you don't even know anything about hockey. No, just kidding. Well, that's actually.
What happened to Pepsi 07? Like I used to do shows with that guy all the time.
Who?
Pepsi is his.
Oh yeah, the guy looks like
He's a sweet guy.
He looks like the guy on Grey's Anatomy, the trauma doctor.
You lost me with Grey's Anatomy. I don't know from Grey's Anatomy.
You'll get married one day. You'll learn from Grey's Anatomy.
Even in my relationship, somehow I seem to avoid that one.
Yeah. Dude, are you kidding? I will. If I really knew somebody, well, I would have to learn how to do it myself. But if I If I could find someone to do an hour on LOL, I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever.
Keldon Johnson is available to play.
Okay. Does that mean anything?
I like Keldon Johnson a little bit.
Oh.
It's a little downgrade for me for Lyles, who is starting to become more in play to me. I think that you're better off with Crowder, guys. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really think that also you get the late swap ability because of the game is the last game. But I do kind of like this idea of playing Keldon Johnson.
What's so good about? I mean, okay. I mean, like
the
Knicks are slow, aren't they? I mean, I don't know.
What's that?
Are the Knicks like not slow?
No, I mean the Spurs play pretty fast. I mean, he's too cheap. They're playing on a back-to-back. His minutes projection has him at like 24, when he may as well play 32 because it's conditioning, which is a little weird. It's the COVID conditioning, obviously, but it's a little weird. I'm just gonna make sure. You know what? I got to change a couple things here. Sorry, I gotta get this together.
Damian Jones updated with a new projection of 9 points. I don't even know what team he's on. Isn't he on the Warriors?
Damian Jones. Yeah, because he's on he's the other center for Knicks, maybe. I don't know. It's so irrelevant to me. Let's see. Crowder. If I wanted to play, oh shit.
And I'm telling you, there's like very little snow on the ground here. It's really cold today, but it's getting warmer. You know what that means? Pitchers and catchers are reporting soon.
I'm excited, Brady. We don't have to like freak out over everything, and it's not going to be like this hugely crazy stressful.
Do you remember towards the end of the season where during the Black Lives Matter stuff, we were just afraid every team was walking off the court?
We really thought it was going to happen. I mean, I thought it was going to happen.
It did like every game.
It was happening. I know. All right. Got a little bit of that.
Oh, that's pretty funny, actually. Just
Dragic there, and we really want to make sure to get. I think Hero is the play.
Hero?
I just like Hero in this matchup so much, and I think he's a better player than the other guys that we're comparing him with, which might mean I might play Trae Young in a lineup. Gulp. Didn't expect that one.
Trae Young?
I wasn't planning to play him.
Yeah, you got a little love on the YouTube channel.
Oh, I appreciate it.
From somebody who commented that you usually liked the young players, and it was refreshing to hear you when you I don't want to say the word trash, but when you were critical of Trae Young.
Yeah. No, he said I think he said bash. So yeah, that's fine. I mean, look, it doesn't mean I don't like Trae Young for fantasy, and also like this matchup is much better without Butler. They're not the same defensive team. You're going to face up with Dragic, who's too slow, Nunn, who's not really a defender, and Hero, who's not really a defender. So I'm kind of okay with the matchup here. Maybe a little Hero Nunn action is what we need. I don't need to do the Noel thing. Feels weird, but I'm gonna have a little bit of it, I guess. Yikes.
I mean, he plays 40 minutes a night, right? I mean,
no, it just feels like I have ideas of other plays, and it's.
I got you. I'm sure he's a good play.
I think he is a good play. I just don't know if I needed him as much as maybe I thought I did. I hate that you can't play Nunn at shooting guard, which is. He's probably more of a true shooting guard than Dragic is. It doesn't really
Keldon Johnson will have a minutes limit and come off the bench.
Okay, good to know. That does make Lyles again a good play. I actually have Booker in one lineup, exactly one.
Well, if I'm not doing so well in the early games, I might end up having it.
But it's. I mean, the only reason I think it makes some sense is that I think there is some potential Look, the Lakers have been very hit or miss lately. I don't know what else to say. And I'm not saying the game's going to get out of hand or you should expect a blowout, but I'm just saying weirder things have happened. What has really changed for you on FanDuel since the beginning of the day, Sheets? Because I don't have a whole lot.
That's what I'm saying. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like that's why I was like confused. So what I did was I pulled up my FanDuel lineup that I did like literally at the 12 o'clock show, and I'm like, what am I changing? And I just couldn't think of anything.
So, I think Harrow might be a better play than Dylan Brooks. That's the one thing I can think of.
I don't have either of them.
What's that?
I don't have either of them.
You don't have Harrow or Dylan Brooks.
No.
Who's your shooting guards?
The shooting guards are Alec Burks and Paul George, pretty much.
Lyles. Sense. Yeah, I'm hammer stacking the first game with that. I really like this hero thing, guys. I'm very into this play. I hope that other people are a little less on it because you can't play all these guys. And I think that he's got like 50 fantasy point upside in this matchup.
Is he a shooting guard on FanDuel?
Yeah.
All right, so I got 3 minutes. I'll put him in. I'll put him in the $3. So hero. So I don't want to play the safe Alec Burks play in the $3. Right, I want to play someone off the wall like hero. Right, so if I do that, 1,100, I can't play Joe Val. Ooh, I could play Harold though, right? Harold, 500. Thank you, FanDuel, for telling me I'm over the salary cap. That looks good. Looks good. Rui. Bam.
The problem I ran into, I'm just gonna tell everybody else out there, with playing Harrell is actually Montrezl Harrell, where I'm gonna have less of him than I originally thought, is pretty simple actually. It's just because I just prefer taking the Nunn Dragic part of it, but I do still like him a lot. It's just a way I guess that I'm constructing my lineups.
Oh my God, DeJounte Murray's 8,800
on FanDuel, yeah.
Ooh-wee.
I mean, look, dude, when he gets there, you know?
Would you play Harrow and Nunn together? Probably not, right? That might not be the best.
No, I don't think I would. Boy, I am ending up with a lot of John Collins here. All right. One more switch. All right, and now we're at lock.
Yeah, fortunately, I didn't get to make this change. Good.
All right, I'm going to, real quick, before she kicks me out of here, answer as many questions as I can. Oh, wow, there's somebody's already putting out ownerships out there. It's just locked a minute ago. Oh, you're just going off of people's projections, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Trey or Beal, I think Trey is the better, like, just in a vacuum play, but Beal correlates with the game that I like the most. Noah retired yesterday, right? Nice. I always love when people take money from James Dolan. Love Collins. Love it, WW Fresh. Glad we're on the same page here, buddy.
All right. Good luck, everybody.